Hello and new moon blessings, everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kelsey, and today I'm going to guide you through a Yin Yoga practice that you can do in honor of a new moon in Capricorn. We can learn a lot about the upcoming theme of a moon cycle by looking at what sign the moon is passing through. So if you chose to practice this class, I'm assuming that you are under or near a new moon in Capricorn. The moon is said to represent our subconscious, our psyche, our emotions. So with a new moon, it is thought that something new is coming into our awareness, a new idea, a new intention. And because this is the beginning of a new cycle, things are not quite clear. They're not as fleshed out. We're not sure how things are going to turn out with this new idea. So it's best to use this time to really go inward and just observe what's coming up naturally for you instead of trying to make things happen. And so, like I said, it's helpful to get a theme for the moon by looking at the sign that the moon is passing through. So when we're looking at a new moon in Capricorn, we are becoming more aware of what our deepest goals and desires are for our long-term future. So I say long-term because Capricorn is not an instant gratification sign. Capricorn is willing to put in the consistent, deliberate effort in order to see a payoff in the long run. Capricorn is the sign that reminds us that the journey is the reward, and that when we get to the top of whatever mountain we're climbing, whatever goal we're climbing towards, it's going to be that much sweeter because of everything that we've done to get to that point. So today you might use this practice to set an intention and get clear on what your deepest desire is for yourself in the long term, and to maybe just bring to mind some baby steps to begin you on the path to getting there. As well as that, we're going to be focusing on the spine in our asanas today because Capricorn rules the spine, so hopefully your back feels really nice after this practice. And with all of that said, we'll go ahead and begin in a half caterpillar. So I'm going to turn to face the front of my mat just so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. You're going to extend your left leg long and bring your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. And I want you to walk this right hip forward a little bit so that they stay in alignment to one another. One hip isn't going forward or back. And then really soften through your left leg. You can see here I have a bolster. I have a couple of blocks. So if you have those, you might like to bring it to your mat. It's not required necessarily. It can just make the poses a little bit more accessible. And you can also replace them with pillows, blankets, stacking books, whatever you really need to here. So in the half caterpillar, we're folding directly over the left leg. So soften from the left toes to the top of the left thigh, and then just start to let gravity pull you forward and down. You might let your hands frame the left leg, or you could rest them on top of the leg. Just don't be tempted to pull yourself deeper. This is a yin practice, so we're letting gravity do the work. In fact, I like to have my palms face up as a gesture of letting go. Head is really heavy. It's totally okay if your spine is rounding here. You can also put a bend into your left knee. You don't have to be going super deep into this pose in order to feel the effects and get the benefits. But like Capricorn and Yin Yoga, we start off at one point and then we end up in a different point inevitably. And the quote-unquote effort that we're putting into a Yin Yoga pose or a Yin Yoga practice is the consistent softening. Every exhale, letting go a little bit more. Letting go of resistance. And we're also being very mindful of our breath, slowing down the inhales, lengthening the exhales. One more breath in. Exhale, use mostly arm strength, placing your hands next to your legs and then pressing down to rise up. Slowly roll up through your spine. Feel that release in the hamstring, the back. Pause to observe how you feel. And then before we do that same pose on the other side, we're going to take a half saddle. It's a back bend. It's also an internal hip rotation. This isn't appropriate for everybody's knees. So I want you to be very discerning of how your body feels in this pose. And if it feels like pain or if it just feels like too much and it's difficult for you to breathe, you can keep both of your legs extended and take a supported fish. If you're going to take the half saddle, you're going to bend that right knee, lean a little bit to your left hip so that you can place your right heel next to your right glute, and see if you can ground that right sits bone back down to the mat. But your knees are more or less still in alignment with your hips, so the knee isn't going super far out. You're trying to bring the knees in alignment with your pelvis. And then I'm going to use a bolster today behind me. If you don't have a bolster, you can use blocks or you can just stack some pillows behind you. Bringing that right up to your lower back and then slowly reclining down into a supported back bend. And so again, the option if you're not taking the half saddle is to extend your right leg long next to your left, taking supported fish. Settle back into your breath. Notice how it feels in your back to be in a back bend versus a forward bend. One more breath in. One more breath out. On an inhale, start to tuck your chin towards your throat, press into your elbows, into your hands as well, and slowly come up. And if you took the half saddle, you can extend the right leg long, and maybe you lean back on your hands and just kind of point and flex the toes or tick-tock the toes. Just making sure everything feels okay in the hips and the knees. And then we'll do those same two poses on the other side. So I'm going to turn the other way just so you can continue to see more easily what I'm doing. So your right leg will go long, your left foot is to the inside of your right leg this time. And again, we're kind of squaring the hips forward to start, just so we're not kind of wapajaw in the hips. If you know what wapajaw means, I see you. Alrighty, we're going to walk the hands forward, let the spine round naturally, let your head be heavy. Again, you're not pulling yourself deeper. You're just along for the ride. You're here for the journey. Every exhale, softening a little bit more. Letting gravity help you deepen the pose over time. One more breath in. Exhale. Use the strength of your arms. Press down into your hands and walk yourself back up very slowly, very mindfully. Take care of your back. Eventually, head is over heart and heart is over hips, and then we just pause to feel the effect. And then once again, we're going to take the half saddle. So I'm going to take my bolster, slide it behind me so that it's going the length of the mat away from my back. And then again, you can either extend your left leg and recline down for supported fish, Or you can bend into the left knee again, lean to the right hip so that you can more easily place your left heel next to your left glute. You're trying to ground that left hip back down, and you also don't want your knee lifting away from the mat. So again, just being in discernment about what is appropriate for your body, and then walking yourself back, slowly reclining into either the supported fish or the half saddle. Releasing everything into the support beneath you. Take one more breath in and out. And once again, begin to tuck your chin towards your throat. Press into elbows and hands to slowly come up away from that bolster. And then if you had your left leg in the half saddle, you can extend and then just move in any way that feels good. From here, we're coming to a flat back, starting in constructive rest. So move your bolster out of the way if you were using it. Bring your feet to your mat, and then use your hands behind your thighs to help yourself slowly roll down, planting your feet about hip width distance. Take another pause here just to acknowledge how it feels to have a neutral spine. And then we'll take a reclined twist from here. Pull your right knee in, extend your left leg long, open your right arm out beside you and guide your right leg towards the left. You are always welcome to bring a block, bolster, pillows underneath that right leg, or you can just let it hover above the floor. Unless you are very flexible, your knee will not touch the floor most likely. And even if your knee can touch the floor, that doesn't always mean it's the best place for you to be. You want to still feel your right shoulder grounded. And you want to feel a nice twist along the spine. Deeper does not mean better in any yoga practice. The last couple of breaths in the twist. Use your next inhale to roll towards your back, and then slowly release your right foot down and slide your left foot in. Take a pause and constructive rest. Others might feel better to pull the knees in towards the chest, but we're just pausing, noticing how the back feels and noticing the difference from right to left. And then we'll move it to the next side. Right leg extends long, left knee comes in. Guide that left leg over to the right, left arm out beside you, and again, you can pull a bolster or pillow underneath that left leg, or you can just let it hover. You just want to be sure that you can let your left shoulder find the mat. And it's almost like you're trying to get your left hip to stack on top of your right, but that doesn't necessarily need to happen. Last several breaths here. One more breath in. Exhale, release towards your back. Again, both feet to the mat, or you could pull your knees in if that feels better. Take a moment to acknowledge how your back feels after these poses. And then we're just going to go right into Shavasana from here. So if you do have a bolster, you could bring it underneath your knees. It just allows for the spine to rest a bit more neutrally. You could also take legs up the wall or place your legs in a couch. Anything that feels good for your back. Allow your eyes to soften and close down. Let your breath return to a natural rhythm. You don't need to control it. You can just let that happen on its own. And softening everything else. You'll hear my voice when it's time to come back into your space. Until then, enjoy your Shavasana. Remaining just as you are, bring your awareness back to your breath. When you feel ready, and only when you feel ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, nod your head side to side, wake your body up with small, gentle movements. Allow for these movements to get larger. Maybe you take a big full body stretch, breathing in, breathing out, letting it go. As you feel ready, bring your knees into your body. Give yourself a big hug, maybe rock side to side. And let that rocking motion land you on whichever side is most comfortable. Press your way up to a seat from there. There's no hurry. Sit up nice and tall when you do arrive. Just take a moment to acknowledge the impact of your practice on you today. Recall your intention for this new moon in Capricorn. What is your deepest desire or goal? And then with gratitude in our hearts, palms come together in front of the heart space. We'll close together with a chant of Om. Wherever you are with your breath, take a breath in. Exhale to chant. Om. Thank you all so much for sharing your practice with me today. I hope that it has served you well. Let me know how it went for you in the comments down below. Also, let me know what your intention is for this new moon. If you enjoyed the practice, please give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. I put out new classes every single Sunday, and then sometimes a special one is thrown in there in the middle of the week for special occasions. With all of that said, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope that we can practice together again very soon. Namaste.